TBPN. Jordy, what is going on in the timeline?
We got a red flag.
We got a red flag on the play. The timeline is in turmoil. Elon Musk and Sam Altman are fighting. Mom and dad are fighting. Mom and dad
Shots
are fighting.
fired.
Shots fired. This all started because of Apple, actually. Not OpenAI, not X, not the Everything app, but Apple and the iOS charts. So this started with Elon Musk posting, Apple is behaving in a manner that makes it impossible for any AI company besides OpenAI to reach number one in the App Store, which is an unequivocal antitrust violation. XAI will take immediate legal action. Well, the community notes section took immediate action and added a number of extra context that they thought people might want to know. First, in January of 2025, DeepSeek reached number one overall in the App Store, similar to how Ramp is our number one sponsor on this show. Time is money, save both. Easy to use corporate cards, bill payments, accounting, and a whole lot more all in one place, folks. Go to ramp.com. And just 1 month ago, on July 18th, 2025, Perplexity reached number one overall in India's App Store. That's interesting. I didn't realize that.
And Grok has hit number one in Japan.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, but
Probably a number of factors contributing to that.
So most of the AI apps live in the productivity section. So that must have been in that, but it's odd because it's like we need a whole new set of categories for the new AI apps. I feel like they should have their own category immediately. What are all the categories? I mean, productivity, I feel like that's everything from like spreadsheets to ChatGPT. Like it's a pretty broad category. And so I mean, Apple probably needs to redo the categories. Where even are the categories? I feel like they're hard to find these days. They have editor choice apps, which we'll get into because, so browse categories. They have Apple Vision Pro apps at the top. That's an odd choice for the iPhone version of the App Store. Then Apple Watch apps, then AR apps, then books, business, developer tools, education, entertainment, finance, food and drink. Food and drink gets its own category.
Well, I'm looking at the global top charts right now, or global for the US, so across all the different categories. And right now, ChatGPT is number one. Number two is T on Her dating advice, which
there's a new T app?
which is helping men date safe.
Wait, so it's the men version?
It's the male version.
The male
of the
version?
It's
men's cereal, but for the T app.
Rated, but it is number one in lifestyle and number two on the overall chart. Number three is T dating. 4 is Threads, which apparently just crossed 400 million monthly active
They're
users.
On a tear. Adam Mosseri's not messing around over at Meta HQ.
And Grok is number 5.
Okay,
so
that's not that bad.
This is despite Apple.
Bad.
I do believe that Elon is correct and that Apple's not including Grok in features, which are editorial
that's
decisions.
A separate thing.
Editorial.
Yeah. So, I mean, Doge Designer says Grok is the number 2 app in productivity, number 6 overall. So why is it so hard to find? And what he's pointing out is that Elon Musk shared this. Grok is the smartest AI in the world and on the toughest tests and came first by far in coding, but is not mentioned at all under AI by Apple. So Apple did an editorial view on the AI-powered apps, and they listed out a bunch. ChatGPT, Google Gemini, Microsoft Copilot, Lightroom, photo and video editor, which... I mean, I use it every once in a while, but it barely has AI features. It does not compare to a foundation model. It's not a chat interface. Then you have Canva. Then you have Duolingo, which, of course, Duolingo uses artificial intelligence in some ways, but you don't think of it as like a competitor to ChatGPT. So this is clearly just like, here are some fun apps, and we're using the AI buzzword over at Apple.
And I think it's given the series of PR crises that Grok has experienced in the last, call it 6 weeks. I think it is fairly fair for the App Store to say, hey, let's let this breathe a little bit. We're not removing them from the App Store. We're not removing them from the rankings. They're still ranked. But maybe let's not feature it, given that it's been saying.
Yeah, the other interesting thing is, like, Grok usage has to be split across X and Grok, the actual app. Like, I bet, I wouldn't be surprised if the majority of actual prompts or tokens flow through X, the everything app, like that's certainly how I use Grok. When I use it, I usually start with the post, click the Grok button, then I'm going back and forth a little bit there. And then also, they actually have a pretty awesome flow where now on any image you see on X, you can press and hold and say, edit this in Grok, and then you can just type Studio Ghibli and it just Ghibli's it right there in Grok.
And they launched a feature to turn it into a video.
Exactly. So all of those Grok tokens, all those Grok usages, that's going to feed into the X app, which again, they've always put X in news and not in social networking because I think it couldn't beat Facebook and Instagram, but it can beat like the traditional news apps. So all of the different rankings are all very it's all gamed in different ways. Some of them are momentum based. Some of them are different categories. And I mean, we heard this from Nikita Beer, where he was saying that his last app that went super viral, he hid in the games section. Those were his words. He hid because the game section is so crowded that people wouldn't see him climbing the rankings, but
charts are based on acceleration broadly. Exactly. Not total usage.
And there are only like 10 dominant social platforms. So if he had a ton of momentum, he'd probably be in the top 10. People would be screenshotting and being like, what is this? And it would be on Mark Zuckerberg's desk. And Mark would have to be like, what's our plan to kill this? Yeah, right? As opposed to if you're hanging out in games next to 75 Candy Crush clones, you could be doing well, but realistically, you're not really gaining that much. You're not drawing that much attention. Then at the last second, he swaps over to social networking where he actually wanted to be, and then he's at the top of the charts. Yep. Anyway,
so Elon says Apple's behaving in a manner that makes it impossible for any AI company besides OpenAI to reach #1 in the App Store. He starts getting community noted. Sam Altman fires back, says this is a remarkable claim. Claims that Elon is using X to benefit himself and his own companies and harm his competitors. Sam starts getting community noted. Elon fires back and says, you got 3 million views on your BS post. You liar, far more than I've received on many of mine, despite me having 50 times your follower count. Elon's getting community noted, but Sam fires back, skill issue or bots.
Skill issue or bots.
Anyways, based off of that, Sam says, will you sign an affidavit that you never directed changes to the X algorithm in a way that hurt your competitors or helped your own companies?
Wait, who said that?
This is Sam.
Sam said that. An affidavit.
I will apologize if so. One thing is that OpenAI has consistently dominated the narrative on X organically. Many of their
some degree. I feel like OpenAI has been more dominant just in the real world, and actually Anthropic's done very well on X. And there's been this whole theme of like Claude has better vibes and big model smell and Claude Code and stuff. Like,
if Sam Altman puts a post up, he can put up a picture of a Death Star
and get
you're
100% correct.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I don't believe that he's like shadow banned. No. I don't believe that anyone in OpenAI is like shadow banned or being held back in the algorithm. Yeah. But somebody responded to this
really
exchange.
Quickly, if Sam's worried about reach, he should be using Restream, putting his content all over the internet. Restream, one live destination, one live stream, 30 plus destinations, multi-stream, and reach your audience wherever they are. And thank you to everyone in the chat today. Mark, Siraj, we got Taylor, David, we got a whole crew here. Techno Chief, I believe, said good morning to me. Hello, Techno Chief.
Good morning.
To see you. And it's fun having all the crew assemble in the chat rooms. We actually can see the chat wherever it's happening, whether it's on X or on YouTube because of Restream. So thank you to Restream. Anyway, continue.
A friend just messaged and said, somebody tell Elon to unshadow ban me.
Okay.
And I think that
I think I know who this is.
I think it's much more likely that it's a skill issue.
Like, I think it is a skill issue for this particular person.
Sam is saying here, you never know. You never know. But somebody responded to Sam and Elon's exchange, and they said, Grok, who's right? Don't be biased. And Grok fires back and says, based on verified evidence, Sam Altman is right. Musk's Apple antitrust claim is undermined by apps like DeepSeek and Perplexity, reaching #1 in 2025. Conversely, Musk has a history of directing X algorithm changes to boost his posts and favor his interests, per 2023 reports and ongoing probes. Hypocrisy noted. So we'll see how long.
But this is 4D chess because in general people don't believe Grok because they believe it to be insane.
Well, it said some wild things.
Crazy things. And so if Grok is siding with Sam, people will be like, well, Grok's wrong. Elon's actually correct.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of these things.
Elon is thinking, what have I created? I created a monster. This is like the child that what's that mythology where the child kills the
Oedipus Rex, of course.
Yes. Oedipus Rex moment. Child coming for the father.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see how long Grok
I don't know how
lasts.
much you want to play on that analogy. It gets pretty weird.
It gets pretty weird.
I mean, Oedipus marries his mother in that,
yes,
in that story.
But we'll see how long Grok lasts in the timeline today. We'll see. So the Wall Street Journal wrote it up. Apple is behaving in a manner that makes it impossible for any AI company besides OpenAI to reach number one. The App Store, which features lists of top and trending apps, is a key way for apps to access new customers. Apple doesn't say much about how or why it chooses particular apps to feature. Among the factors it considers is usability and positive reviews and ratings. Yeah, it's definitely getting more and more complex. It's just important to break out editorial decisions from the App Store team and true rankings, right?
I mean, I think a lot of people have not taken a tour of the modern App Store on iOS because it used to be that you just show up and there was just a list of, like, the charts were like a few clicks away. I'm like 7 clicks deep. There's an ad for just Google, I guess, in here. There's essentials that are just top games right now. Like, you have to scroll and then you go over to apps, then you can browse the categories. But even when you browse the categories, you go to productivity, it's going to give you when I go to productivity, you think I'd be browsing to hit like, okay, show me the top productivity apps. Yeah. No, it's showing me an app called Sofa, a downtime organizer. Then it's showing me essential productivity apps that are selected by the App Store editors. Then the best calendar apps, best to-do apps, best email apps, best focus timer, habit tracking. It's going. And
well, the big question is how much discovery is actually happening in the App Store? Yep. Is this where people are actually finding?
I got to the top charts, but it's 7 clicks deep. And so, if I go to free apps, it's ChatGPT number 1, then Grok number 2, then Microsoft Authenticator number 3, AGI achieved. Let's hear it from Microsoft Authenticator. Maybe Grok
doesn't get enough love. No, but the question here is, are people discovering various LLMs through TikTok and X and Instagram and various platforms? Is that where discovery is happening?
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's some discovery happening in the App Store, but it has to be a very small fraction of the downloads being driven are actually driven by the editorial decisions from the App Store.
Of course, yeah. And games don't even show up in the top. Like, it's not, games are not, it's a completely separate tab. You cannot select games as one of the subcategories of apps because games are not considered apps anymore in the App Store. To answer the question about like hiding in games. The other question is just like, how fair is it to give yourself a little boost in your app that you paid $70 billion for?
Yeah.
Like, I was thinking about this and I was saying like
44 billion.
Well, it was 44?
Yeah,
it was 44. It wasn't 69. I thought it was 69 for some reason. That was the price per share. He paid 60. So ridiculous. Anyway, I was thinking about, like, before the launch of Instagram stories, I didn't have a way to share Snapchat stories on Instagram. Like, you could screenshot them, but there's no sort of like native way to share a link to a story that if someone on my Instagram feed sees it, it clicks and it automatically opens in Snapchat. Like, it was always a walled garden. And then when Instagram stories came out, there was really no way to tie those two platforms together. Like, in the pre-Meta era, there was a way when you shared a post on Instagram to check a box and automatically share it to your Twitter. And it would not just share a link, it would share the actual photo with the comment, and it would work as a native post on X. And it could, not really go viral, but it existed on Twitter as like a first-class citizen, in the sense that the image was there was no link, it was just like you had just actually opened the app, posted
Proper
the same
cross
photo
post.
with proper cross post, right? And then eventually, once Facebook bought Instagram, Twitter had to respond by breaking that integration. So early on, Twitter had this was like the Adam Bain era, like the early, back the Dick Costolo era. Twitter had this idea of like, we're going to be the command line for your life. And there was this idea of like, I'm going to be able to tweet at you to send money to you. Like the everything app idea is something that's over 13 years old at this point, maybe 15 years old at this point. Like the Twitter executives were thinking about this a long time ago, like being able to tweet money at you, being able to like use Twitter as kind of this like substrate or this like API for all sorts of things. Other apps would be built on top of Twitter. There was TweetDeck and Tweety Bird and like all these different, like the mobile app was by an independent developer. And they just didn't, and they were like, why would we need one? We just developed the protocol. Well,
Reddit did this too.
Yeah, well, you need one because you want to stuff ads in it, obviously, and you want to monetize it. It makes a ton of sense. And so Elon came in and killed all that. But
the other challenge here is Grok has a variety of NSFW features.
Yep.
And when Apple is making editorial decisions about which apps to feature in the App Store, that is certainly going to be on their mind.
We're having Eugenia from Replica on the show later today. I'm wondering if Replica, I think, is currently in the App Store with 226,000 reviews. Hasn't gotten kicked out. I'm trying to think if any other apps. So like OnlyFans, for example, does not have an app. I'm wondering if any of what Character AI does, right? So Apple's clearly drawn the line at like AI chatbots, even if they're somewhat erotic, are okay. But
that doesn't mean they're gonna. That doesn't mean they're gonna feature.
They're not going to promote it
to the average person on the App Store.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely correct.
And then again, I think it's very hard to say how Apple makes these editorial decisions. But it's very possible that they are talking with people on the Apple team and being like, "What apps do you like? What apps are you using?" And making decisions that way, right? I think part of Grok over the last month or so is like figuring out like, how do we get strong consumer adoption? Which categories are we going to get strong?
I'll tell you how they get strong consumer adoption. SOC 2 compliance. They need to get on Vanta. Automate compliance, manage risk, prove trust continuously. Vanta's trust management platform takes the manual work out of your security and compliance process and replaces it with continuous automation, whether you're pursuing your first framework or managing a complex program. No, that is a good question. How can Grok actually get consumer adoption? The companion space seems like maybe the right move, even if it is a little weird. But is there any other path? I mean, forking it into X and Twitter and like having it show up on every post seems like a reasonable way. I wonder, it is weird that they have two apps. I thought X was supposed to be the everything app. Like why are they trying to get me to install a second app when they should maybe just say, hey, we're actually going to be the everything app. You can use Grok fully and you're all the upgrade and you can get on Grok heavy and you can be paying $200 a month for a top tier, the super insane level LLM, but it all exists and it's all managed within the X app that already has a lot of installations.
Like
it's
a challenge.
Why a second app?
Your Grok is top or near the top of a bunch of different benchmarks, and yet that doesn't guarantee consumer adoption, right? People don't switch products because something is 20% better in this technical way, right? They develop habits. And the other thing, it was only a month ago, Grok or XAI announced a partnership with the Department of Defense, a $200 million contract. So that's serious. But again, figuring out where they're going to ramp revenue with consumers when it's not just bundled into X, the social media app.
Yeah, I think it's interesting to debate like, when can a new technology be bolted on and become additive to an existing platform versus you need a new app to actually get it to work? So Facebook actually rolled out a search engine in Facebook, the Blue app, like years ago. And when you would go to search, you could search for your friends, but then you could also go and it would search the web too. And it would say, hey, you're searching for this thing. There's no posts about it out there, so let's just pull from the web. And they basically built a search engine.
Team, pull up this post from ChatGPT. I want to see John's live reaction to it.
Okay, let me see this post. Whereas like stories was something that was added on.
So ChatGPT quoted Grok saying that Sam Altman is right
correct.
and said, good bot.
Good bot. Wow. Timelines in turmoil. You love to see it. It's a great day on the internet. But there's always, so I think there is something about like the screen pixel real estate that is somewhat like screen pixels are like scarce, and you can only do so much. Like like Instagram was able to add Reels as a tab, integrate those into the main feed. They were able to add stories up at the top as a little bar, and it got crowded. But Instagram did not see massive churn.
Yeah.
But I think that I really think if they try and stuff like, okay, yes, this is also like Claude code, and you're going to like do your homework in Instagram now. You're going to do your software engineering in Instagram right now.
Surfers up here. You're going to have a chat below.
I think people will just say no. I think it's too big of a step. Whereas going from photos to videos to Reels to stories, like all of that works within the same kind of UX UI space. But if you try and bolt on like a productivity tool into a social network, it winds up being a little rough. And so maybe that's the reason why Elon like realizes that like Grok has to be a separate app. Because if I'm using Grok heavy to solve Olympic level math, I might not want that to happen on the chaos timeline feed, right?
Yeah, I mean,
but it's an uphill battle.
If you're a software engineer working at a company, and every time your boss walks up to talk to you about something, you're in X, the Everything app, just scrolling the timeline while coding, that might be tough, right? It might be better to be doing that coding work and with Grok, right?
Put a spreadsheet in there. Put a database in there. Let me build an entire business within the Everything app. Tyler, what's your reaction today?
I think so one thing I've been thinking about is like I forget who it was, but someone said like as a company you want to like do things that your competitor that like go against your competitor's morals, right? Do you remember?
Yeah, this was Paul Graham.
Yeah, okay.
It wasn't morals, but it was just like the idea of counterpositioning. This idea that like Avi Schiffman at Friend, like he's making a product that is a wearable AI device. And if he makes it look like an Apple product and he makes it like, oh, it's instead of an AirPod and, an iPhone, it's a necklace, like, and it has Apple design language, like Apple will totally be able to just steamroll that by launching something very similar.
Yeah.
Whereas if he comes out with something that has such a bizarre design that Apple would be like, wow, if we try and copy him.
And he's not trying to make it useful for anything other than being your friend.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
He's also counterpositioning against ChatGPT,
Yep.
which is a tool. Its default state is not to be your friend. People
Yep.
use it that way, but and in some ways it's designed to function like that. But ultimately, I think he's carved out his own. And Grok did the same thing by coming out and like leaning really heavy into companionship.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That is a.
So
I think
that's
that's
the
something
point,
that
right?
OpenAI
Down that
wasn't
path.
willing to do.
Yeah.
If they're gonna go like in that like kind of counterpositioning like idea, I think they could also I could see them doing almost like a Cluely type thing where it's like, okay, you can use this for your homework. Like you make it very good at like, you don't have to use like cheating per se, but I think that's like an interesting way that like if they want to go further down that like consumer kind of positioning.
Yeah, it's odd that it feels like they're trying to do a lot right now. They're still in the exploration phase because maybe this gets to like the value of transfer learning and reinforcement learning, but I have a hard time believing that many people who are in the market for like a companion are like, I definitely want it to be able to ace humanity's last exam. Like, in fact,
super important to me.
In fact, I think that you might want a companion not to be better than you at math. Like, I think you might want a companion that just kind of like is like, oh yeah, I agree, man. Like that math problem
this is a
hard.
toxic
like,
friendship dynamic. People are like, I want my friend to be great. but not better than me.
Exactly. That's real. So they need to dumb it down. They need to be the inverse of bench hacking.
Yeah, the truth seeking.
Yeah, the new meta is going to be teaching your AI how to do things.
Yeah.
Teaching it history.
Yeah.
Teaching it how to do your homework.
Yeah. I mean, the Feynman method. You teach and then you learn. It, like, I would probably learn more from teaching an LLM the answer to a problem than it trying to teach me. What were you about to say?
I was gonna say, like, the truth-seeking like idea of Grok seems very much like opposed to the companion aspect. Like, those seem like two different ends of.
The hero of our group chat right now is one of the greatest fabulists in history. he's a serial liar.
Yes.
but he's the most entertaining character.
The court jester.
He's the court jester of our group chat because he hallucinates more than GPT-2. And it's fantastic. And it genuinely provides a lot of value than just someone who's like, oh, I will only give you things that are 100%. I will only say things that are 100% factual. I will only say things that are definitively provable. It's like, no, he throws out a lot of wild pitches, but every once in a while, you just slam it into the outfield.